हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहना भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। शंकरं परमानन्दं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं यतीश्वरं भाष्यभ्रान्तिहरं वन्दे शुद्धज्ञानैकबोधकम्। ओम नमः शिवाय 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 ओम नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। I think there is some internet problem on Facebook. The video is getting interrupted. I hope it will get resolved. We will begin with the Shanti mantra. Om apyayantu mamangani vak pranachakshusrotramatho balamindriyani cha sarvani sarvam brahmopanishadam maham brahma nirakuryam ma brahma nirakarot anirakaranamastva nirakaranam me yastu तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. We'll chant the mantras of the 16th section. Purusham Somya Uta Hastagrihitam Anayanti Apaharshit Steyam Akarshit Parashum Asme Tapateti Sayadi Tasya Karta Bhavati Tata Eva Andrutam Atmanam Kurute So Andrutabhisandho Andrutena Atmanam Antardhaya Parashum Taptam Pratigruhnati Sadayyate Atahanyate. अथ यदि तस्य अकर्ता भवति तत एव सत्यम् आत्मानं कुरुते स सत्याभिसन्धः सत्येन आत्मानम् अन्तर्धाय परशुं तप्तं प्रतिगृह्णाति स न दह्यते अथ मुच्यते. स यथा तत्र नादाह्येत एतदात्म्यमिदं सर्वं तत्सत्यं स आत्मा तत्त्वमसि श्वेतकेतो इति तद्हास्य विजज्ञौ इति. We are seeing this sixth chapter of Chandogya Upanishad, wherein the teacher revealed that Brahma Vidya to Shwetaketu, and finally through the mahavakya twamasi revealed the identity of the Atma and Brahma, that you are Brahma. If you have difficulty in watching this video on Facebook, you can switch over to my YouTube channel. So after listening to this revelation, Shwetaketu had various doubts, and those doubts were also clarified using various examples. Finally, the teacher also indicated that though an ignorant person and a wise person, when they die, they go through the same process. They merge into that Sat Brahma. But an ignorant person is born again whereas the enlightened person is not born again. He gains moksha. So Shwetaketu wanted to know why this difference. So with the help of an example, the teacher clarifies his doubt. He gives the example of maybe I will change the little bit of to make it all right. Okay. So the teacher gives the example of the person who is caught and he is brought to the judge, and he denies that he has not stolen anything. So if he has really stolen something, he gets burned and he is also punished. But if he has not stolen, then he is immediately released. Though both of them are holding the hot axe in their hands, but one gets burned and one who has not stolen doesn't get burned. The one who has stolen, he envelopes himself with a lie and hence get burned. But the one who has not stolen, who is innocent, envelops himself with the truth and he is not burned and he is released. In the same way, when we are alive, and if we gain that knowledge that I am Brahma, and with this knowledge and firm conviction that I am Brahma, when I drop the body, then I am not born again. But if that firm conviction is not there, then I am holding on to a lie that I am a karta, bhokta, jnata, and hence I am born again to experience this samsara. So, in order to make us free from this samsara bandhan, the teacher reveals this supreme knowledge that you are Brahma. You are that Brahma. Tattvamasi. Now, in this, we have to understand that what exactly is the meaning of the term twam, you. When the Shastras points out to us and say that you are Brahma, what is the meaning of the term you? Means, what do I understand by the term I? When I say I, what is my understanding about myself? And that is very important. Because unless we comprehend ourselves properly, we will not be able to understand the Upadesh given in our Shastras. So Shankaracharya ji analyzes this in his Bhashya. So let us read the Bhashya. Shankaracharya ji writes, कि कह पुनः असौ श्वेतकेतुः त्वं शब्दार्थः, that who is this Shwetaketu who is referred to by the term twam in the Tattvamasi mahavakya? Shwetaketu is referred to with the term twam. So what is the literal meaning of this term twam? What does it mean? What does it indicate? Whom does it indicate? So Shankaracharya ji writes, कि यो अहम श्वेतकेतुः उद्दालकस्य पुत्रः इति वेद आत्मानं आदेशं श्रुत्वा मत्वा विज्ञाय च अश्रुतम् अमतम् अविज्ञातं विज्ञातुं पितरं पप्रच्छ कथं नो भगव स आदेशो भवति इति. That twam is the Shwetaketu who considered himself as Shwetaketu, aham Shwetaketu, who had the understanding that my name is Shwetaketu, I am Shwetaketu, and I am the son of Uddalakah. I am the son, Uddalakah Muni is my father, and I am his son. Uddalakasya putraha iti Veda. Does he understand himself as the son of Uddalakah? And when he heard his father, when his father said that when he returned from his Gurukul, his father asked him that did you ask for that Adesh from your teacher? So when he heard this, Adesham Shrutva Matva Vijnaya, when he heard his father talking about that Adesh, knowing which everything becomes known, he had this desire to hear about it, to think about it, and to know about it. Shrutva Matva Vijnaya. He wanted to hear about it, he wanted to contemplate and think about it and know it properly, understand it properly. So with that desire, and what is this Adesh? Ki ashrutam, amatam, avijnatam, vijnatum. That Adesh is such that that which is not heard becomes heard, that which is not thought of becomes thought of, that which is not known becomes known. So in order to know this, Pitaram papracha katannu bhagava sa adesho bhavati iti. He had asked his father that please teach me what is this adesh, so that I can hear it, I can think about it, I can understand it. So the entity who considers himself as the listener, as the thinker, as the doer, as the knower, he is referred to as with the term twam. Further, Shankaracharya ji writes कि स एषो अधिकृतः श्रोता मंता विज्ञाता तेजोवन्नमयं कार्यकरण संघातं प्रविष्टा परा एव देवता नाम रूप व्याकरणाय आदर्श इव पुरुषः सूर्यादिरिव जलादौ प्रतिबिंब रूपेण स आत्मानं कार्यकरणेभ्य प्रविभक्तं सद्रूपं सर्वात्मानं प्राक् पितुः श्रवणात् न विजज्ञम्. Big sentence actually, long sentence. So sa esha adhikritah shrota manta vijnata, one who considers himself as the shrota, as the listener, as the thinker, as the knower, and who is really the para devata who has entered this body, which we have seen. That Sat alone was there in the beginning, and that Sat enters the fire, it enters water, it enters earth to create this whole multiplicity of this world. So Tejo Vannamayam, Tejaha means fire, Apa water, Annamayam, Anna is earth. So this our own body, which is made up of these 5 elements, and our Sukshma Sharir, which is also made up of the Bhagwan's Prakriti only. In this, that Paradevata has entered to become many. He has entered the body of Hiranyagarbha, Vaishvanara, all the Devatas, human beings, animals, birds, plants. So that Paradevata himself is expressing to this body as our own reflection expresses through the mirror. So Adarsha Iva Purushaha, or like the sun expressing through its reflection, Suryadi Riva Jalado, in water, etc., the sun alone is expressing. In the same way, the Paradevata is that Sat Brahma, who is itself is Ishvara. So here Paradevata is Sakshat, that Ishvara, who has entered this body and who alone is expressing as the Shrota, Manta, Vijnata, as the listener, as the thinker, as the knower. Suryadi iva jalado pratibimba rupena sa atmanam karyakarnebhya pravibhaktam sadrupam sarvatmanam prak pituhu. And I am that Paradevata, I am that Ishvara who has entered this body and who is now thinking myself to be the thinker, the knower, the doer, the enjoyer. So Shwetaketu is also that same Paradevata, that Ishvara, who has entered his body and whom Shwetaketu experiences as himself. and who is really that Paradevata, who is really that Sat Brahman. But before he is taught by his father, so स आत्मानं कार्यकरणेभ्य प्रविभक्तं सद्रूपं सर्वात्मानं प्राक् पितुः श्रवणात् न विजिज्ञ. Before listening to his father, before gaining that understanding from his father, Shwetaketu did not know that he is the Paradevata, who is different from this body, mind, senses. So he considered himself as the doer, knower, enjoyer. That Shwetaketu is referred to by the term twam. Okay. Now let me simplify the whole thing. Actually, when the Shastras give this knowledge to us, when the Shastras are indicating to us that you are Brahma, what is our meaning of the term you? Or what do we understand by the term I? Or what should we understand by the term I? Actually, I am that Supreme Brahma only who is hidden in this body, who is present in this body, who is expressing through this body. In the waking state, I express along with my Stula Sharir, Sukshma Sharir. In dream, I express myself through my Sukshma Sharir. And in deep sleep, I remain hidden in this body. So that I is referred to by the term twam, who is also called the Jiva, who is also called the Kshetrajna, who is also called the Purusha or the Karta, Bhokta, Jnata. That I is referred to by the term twam. See, for example, suppose you are wearing the dress, you're wearing pant, and you are wearing a shirt, and you are walking. When I look at you walking, at a very outermost superficial level, I see your dress walking. You have the shoes, the pants, the shirt. So I see the shoes, the pant, the shirt walking. Somebody asks me, who is walking? I might say, oh, the pant is walking. But really speaking, the pant is not walking because the pant is inert. By itself, it cannot walk. The person who is wearing the pant is walking. In the same way, when I say I am walking, I am sitting, I am standing, I might be referring to the body, but really speaking, the body is also inert. Just like the pant, the body is also inert. By itself, it cannot walk. So I am present in this body who is walking. But I am not only present in my gross body, I am also present in my subtle body, in my Sukshma Sharir. So when the Sukshma Sharir is also functioning, when my mind is feeling and thinking, my senses are perceiving, my intellect is understanding, my pranas are breathing, circulating, digesting, etc. But this Sukshma Sharir is also inert. Sukshma Sharir is also made up of matter. It is I who is present in that Sukshma Sharir, who is thinking, who is walking, who is talking, who is feeling, who is understanding, who is different from the Sukshma Sharir. So that I, who is different from the Sukshma Sharir as well as Sthula Sharir, who consider himself as the Karta, Bhokta, Jnata, who consider himself as the doer, enjoyer, knower, perceiver, who remains and who remains separate from the Sthula Sharir and Sukshma Sharir, means who is actually separate from the Sthula Sharir and Sukshma Sharir, which we experience in our deep sleep. That is the I. That is who I am. That is the meaning of the term twam, the literal meaning of the term twam. The literal meaning of the term twam is this jiva who is separate from the Sthula Sharir and Sukshma Sharir, who is also referred to as Kshetrajna, as Pratyagatma, who is the Karta, Bhokta, Jnata, who thinks himself to be the Karta, Bhokta, Jnata. He is referred to by the term twam. That is the literal meaning of the term twam. And through the mahavakya, tattvamasi, the implied meaning of the term twam is indicated by the teacher. The teacher tells us that, hey, my dear student, you consider yourself as the Karta, Bhokta, Jnata, this Jiva, but you are not the Karta, Bhokta, Jnata. You are that Sat Brahma. So I, the Kshetrajna, is pointed out as Tvam, and that Kshetrajna is given this knowledge that you are Brahma. I hope you are understanding what I am saying. If yes, you can write yes in the comment. If no, then no. If you have any question, you can ask. Okay, I got first S. That means everyone is saying yes. It's not very complex actually, it's very simple. But the trouble is, we have accumulated so many false ideas about Vedanta and all those things that we have made it very complicated. It is as simple as anything else. Let me again give some other example. Like I am sitting in this room, there are these walls There is the ceiling, there is the floor, and I am sitting in this room, my study room, where I have these classes, online classes. Then there is the bedroom, there is the living room, there is kitchen, there are other rooms. So what are all these? Apart from the walls and apart from the ceiling, what I am talking about is the space. I am referring to the space inside. So the space is referred to as the study room, living room, drawing room, kitchen. Which space? How many space are there? There is only one space. There is only one infinite space, which is not limited by anything. Vast infinite space in which billions and billions of galaxies are there. That space has entered my room. And after entering my room, it has become the study room, drawing room, kitchen, bedroom, living room. And it gets affected by those rooms. The kitchen has its own atmosphere, the bedroom has its own atmosphere, the living room has got another atmosphere, the study has got some different atmosphere, and the space get affected by this because the space consider itself as the living room, drawing room, kitchen. Then the teacher. Who is the teacher? Teacher is also another room, but who knows that I am not this room, I am that infinite space. Who has got the knowledge that I am the vast infinite space. I have got nothing to do with this room. Even if the whole building collapses, it will not destroy me. I remain same. So that teacher tells this space in the room that you are infinite space. You are that. You are that. So by the term you, the teacher is referring to the space inside the room, and by the term that, it is referring to that infinite space. So by this simple sentence, Tattvamasi, you are that, it is telling this space within this room that you are really this infinite space. You are not the wall, you are not the furniture, but you are that infinite space. The wall is like the Sthula Sharir. The furnitures are like the Sukshma Sharir. And that space inside the room is like Kshetrajna, Pratyagatma. These are different terms. Jiva, who consider himself as Karta, I am a doer. Bhokta, I am an enjoyer. Jnata, I am a knower. And all this he considers out of ignorance only. Because he holds on to the furniture, holds on to the walls, and thinks himself to be the doer, knower, enjoyer. So that space within is indicated that you are that infinite space, because that infinite space never becomes confined. Even though it might appear in the room, that doesn't mean it has really become a bedroom or a kitchen or drawing room. That those names are only with respect to the walls and the ceilings, but even the walls and ceilings cannot limit the space. The space is present inside the wall also, inside the ceilings also. In the same way, this Pratyagatma itself is Brahma. He doesn't have to become Brahma because he has not become anything else. I have not become a doer, knower, enjoyer. I am just assuming this role, identifying with the Sthula Sharir and Sukshma Sharir. When the Sthula Sharir is walking, I say I am walking. When the mind is feeling, I say I am feeling. When the intellect is understanding, I say I am understanding. So, this notion that I am a doer, knower, enjoyer is a false notion. So, when the teacher points out to me that, hey, you are Brahma, Tattvamasi, then what happens? The false notion gets dropped. Once the false notion gets dropped, I am anyway Brahma only. Even with the false notion, I am Brahma. But because of the false notion, I experience sorrow, pain. So through these teachings of the Shastras, my false notion gets dropped, and that itself is called self-knowledge, dropping of the false notion. So before those false notions are dropped, what I understand myself as this karta, bhokta, nyata, that is the literal meaning of the term twam. So, pointing out to the literal meaning of the term twam, the scriptures indicate the implied meaning that you are not this karta, bhokta, nyata, you are Brahma. So Shankaracharya ji writes that before knowing, gaining this knowledge, Shwetaketu understood himself to be a jiva, karta, bhokta, nyata, jiva. He did not understand himself as different from this Sthula Sharir, Sukshma Sharir, as Sat, Brahma. But then, after listening to the teacher, what happened? Shankaracharya writes, कि अथ इदानीम, अथ now, इदानीम पित्रा प्रतिबोधितः, when his father taught him. And how did the father teach him? Tattvamasi iti. Father taught him Tattvamasi. Tattvamasi. Only this much he taught, yes. But we are having these classes for the past 42 days. Yeah. And what did the father teach? Tattvamasi. But to teach this Tattvamasi, he had to build up the whole structure. He had to first point out that Brahma. Then he had to point out that Brahma alone is expressing in you as the jiva. And then he pointed out that you are Brahma. You have to just drop the wrong notion. And how did the father teach this Tattvamasi? Drishtantaihi hetubhischa. Two things Shankaracharya writes. Drishtantaihi means with examples. We have seen right from the beginning, the father gives so many examples and direct experimentation also. About Trivrit Karanam also he gave example of how when we churn the curd, how it gets divided into three portions. In the same way, this Panchikrita Panchamahabhut get divided through this process of Trivrit Karanam and all. He also made Shwetaketu fast for 15 days in order to make him realize that mind is made up of anna. And later on, when he pointed out this Tattvamasi, he gave so many examples. So, Drishtantaihi and Hetubhischa. Hetubhischa means through logic, through proper rational logic. Because our intellect has to understand this. What is taught has to be understood by our intellect. And our intellect understands the language of logic. Mind has got feelings and mind has got beliefs. Many of these so-called religions of modern times are nothing but beliefs. They are not based on understanding. They are based on beliefs. And beliefs can get shattered also. They are little flimsy. They are on very flimsy grounds. Therefore, people get all shaken up if you say something or do something against their beliefs. But understanding is something firm. It cannot get shaken up. It's like mathematics. If I know 2 plus 2 is 4, it is not a belief. It is an understanding. Nobody can make me understand something contrary to that. If also certain things I understand through direct experimentation, like fire is hot. I have not only heard this from my elders, but I have also experienced it by putting my finger into fire and actually experiencing. So if somebody tells me that fire is cold, I will not accept it. But if that person is someone whom I respect and all, I might believe, okay, might be. But my intellect will object to it. So intellect accepts the language of examples, of experimentations, of logic. Therefore, science is so popular because it uses this technique of gaining the knowledge of this world. But the same technique is revealed in Vedanta also, in the Upanishads. That you understand you are Brahma, and to understand that, the teacher gives various examples, gives various logic, and with that, our intellect gains the knowledge. And once intellect gains knowledge, see, we have to differentiate between accepting something and really understanding. If I say you are Brahma, you might have accepted it. Yes, Swamiji is saying, scriptures are saying. So you might say, yeah, I accept. I have faith in it that I am Brahma. That is just a belief. That is just a Shraddha. which is also very important because that is the first step. In Gita, Bhagavan says, Shraddhavan labate jnana. One who has Shraddha, that person will gain knowledge. So Shraddha is very important. But that Shraddha should get converted into understanding, into knowledge. So through examples and through logic, the teacher had given this knowledge, tattvamasi. Tattvamasi iti drushtantaihi hetubhischa tat pituhu asya ha kila uktam. His own father revealed this knowledge to Shwetaketu. Then what happened? After so many experimentation and so many examples and asking and clarifying his doubt, therefore Vedanta has to be understood and studied proactively, not passively, not just all of you are doing listening, but along with listening, you have to do a lot of contemplation and debate and discuss among yourself with the teacher and clarify and make it your understanding. It should become your understanding free from doubt. Like I said, mathematics 2 plus 2 is 4. I don't think any one of you have any doubt about it. But you are Brahma, you might be having that belief, but it should become understanding free of doubt. And doubts are many. And our own intellect will bring out these doubts, which Shankaracharya ji brings out in his Bhashya also on our behalf and clarifies those doubts. So the student Shwetaketu, when he heard his father giving this knowledge, tattvamasi, then what happened? Tat pituhu asyaha kila uktam, then sad eva aham asmi. Shwetaketu understood that sat eva aham asmi. I am sat alone. That sat, Brahma, which the teacher had pointed out and told him that you are that Sat Brahma. Shwetaketu finally understood that Sad eva aham asmi. I am Sad eva. Eva means Sad alone. I am that Sat Brahma alone. Iti vijadnyau, he understood. He gained that firm understanding, firm conviction. Vijñātavam. Dvirvachanam adhyaya parisamaptyartham. And it is repeated twice. Vijatnyam iti. To indicate the end of this chapter. So Shwetaketu iti tadha asya vijitnyam iti. So Shwetaketu finally understood that I am Brahma, I am that Sat Brahma. See, it's most fascinating. Many actually people misunderstand. They don't understand the literal meaning of this term twam or I. That I should be understood as this Pratyagatma, the Kshetrajna, the Sushupta Atma. That is very important. Many people, they misunderstand that I as the Jagrat person, this Bahishprajna. The Bahishprajna, though he is listening to this pravachan and all, but I should understand myself as the Kshetrajna who is referred to by the teacher when he says twam, that I, the Kshetrajna, am Brahma. I, the Kshetrajnam, am Brahma. Not I, the Ahankar, is Brahma. I, the Waker, is Brahma. No, I, the Kshetrajna, is Brahma. Am Brahma. In Gita also, 13th chapter, Bhagwan first points out this Kshetrajna by saying that idam shariram kaunteya kshetramityabhidhiyate. This body, stula sharir and our sukshma sharir, is called kshetra. And the knower of the kshetra is called kshetrajna. And knower is always different from kshetra. So that I, who is different from the stula sharir and sukshma sharir, is kshetrajna. And that kshetrajna is, Bhagwan says then in Gita, kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. That understand myself as kshetrajna. So what is indicated in the 13th chapter, same thing is indicated in all the Upanishads. That kshetrajna is Brahma. So thus concludes this Shankaracharya's bhashya on this mantra, but then he raises few questions himself, as I said, and he answers them to make our understanding more proper, more clear. So he raises one question. Now let us see what question Shankaracharya raises. Ki kim punaha atra shashte vakya pramanena janitam phalam atmani. He says that this is Shastra Praman. We have seen that through the worldly Praman, like Pratyaksha, Anuman, Arthapatti, Upamanam, we cannot gain this knowledge of that Brahma. We can gain through Shastra Praman only. And what is that Shastra Praman? Is this Vakya, the Tattvamasi, which is finally uttered by this teacher, that you are that Brahma. This sentence is like a Shastra Praman. So the question is that what one will achieve through this. Kim punaha atra shashte, in the 6th chapter, Vakya Pramanena, by this Vakya Praman, Janitam phalam atmani, what will be the result in myself? What is the result of this? That is being discussed. So Shankaracharya writes, he says, कर्तृत्व भोक्तृत्वयोः अधिकृतत्व विज्ञान निवृत्ति ही तस्य फलम यम अवोचाम त्वं शब्दवाच्यार्थम अथ अर्थम श्रोतुम मंतुम च अधिकृतत्वम अविज्ञात विज्ञान फलार्थम. Shankaracharya says that the phala of this mahavakya is that I, who consider myself as the karta, bhokta, jnata, that I am a doer of action, and that is what I think, na? When desire comes, I say, I have to do this, I have to fulfill that, I have to do this yajna and get that result, or I have to do that work and get the result in this world. So I consider myself as a doer who works to gain the results in this world. So that understanding is about that jiva. I consider myself as the jiva. But when we listen to this mahavakya, when we study the Vedanta properly from proper teacher, then what happens? This false notion that I am the doer, knower, enjoyer gets dropped. कर्तृत्व भोक्तृत्व योहो अधिकृतत्व विज्ञान निवृत्ति तस्य फलम. This false notion gets dropped. And once that false notion gets dropped, then I remain as Brahma. I don't have to do anything to become Brahma, because I am Brahma only. Again, to give example of the space which was considering itself as the living room, drawing room, kitchen, when it is told that you are that infinite space and not this drawing room, then what happens? The false notion which it had that I am the drawing room gets dropped. And when it gets dropped, it remains as the infinite space. Even when the walls are there, in the same way, even when the body is there, I am Brahma. And when the body gets dropped, I am Brahma. I continue to be Brahma. More about this we will see in our class on Monday. So till then, you take care. Be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy. Do your work, do your sadhana. Listen to the pravachan again. Understand it properly. And you can write your understanding in the comments and all. There are few of you who give me feedback and you also write. But others also should write. You can write what you have understood, or if you have any doubts, you can write. Okay? And we will meet again on Monday. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Boliye Siyavar Ramchandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.